We'll have the latest after a violent demonstration at the U.S. Capitol. We'll hear from a four-state woman who was there. We'll learn about one of the tools in Freeman Hospital's arsenal in the fight against COVID-19.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
One day after a mob stormed the United States Capitol, questions remain about how it could have happened and what happens next. Michael George has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem.
President Trump taped a message condemning the violence and called for calm. He also said he's focused on a smooth transition of power.
To all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning.
But even the president's allies say he bears some responsibility for the attack.
The president needs to understand that his actions were the problem, not the solution.
And some have called for the president to leave office before the inauguration.
Remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment. If the vice president and the cabinet do not act, the Congress may be prepared to move forward with impeachment.
And Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao is one of 8 administration officials to resign in protest of the president's response. While the cleanup continues on Capitol Hill, questions remain about how the protesters could make it into the Capitol in the first place and why police weren't better prepared to handle the planned protests.
No one can tell me that if had been a group of Black Lives Matter protesting yesterday, they wouldn't have been treated very, very differently than the mob of thugs that stormed the Capitol.
The government is now moving in 6,200 National Guard members and installing 7-foot-tall fences in preparation for the inauguration.
These personnel and this security measures will be in place for no less than the next 30 days.
The FBI says it's working to identify those involved in Wednesday's rampage. Michael George, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The FBI says it's received more than 4,000 tips in the first day of looking for suspects. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund is resigning. According to a Capitol Police official, his last day will be January 16th. Several lawmakers called for him to step down, as well as other Capitol security officials. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says House Sergeant-at-Arms Paul Irving also plans to step down. He's been the Chamber's chief law enforcement officer and protocol officer since 2012. In the Senate, Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says he'll fire Sergeant of Arms Michael Stenger if he doesn't resign. Schumer is poised to become majority leader, a role that will give him the power to make that decision. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley has been making headlines for his actions following the riot. Critics have accused the senator of playing a role in what happened at the Capitol due to his objection of electoral votes in Pennsylvania. In a statement, Senator Hawley said, quote, "I will never apologize for giving voice to the millions of Missourians and Americans who have concerns about the integrity of our elections. That's my job and I will keep doing it," end quote. Joplin businessman David Humphreys, a major Hawley donor, told the Missouri Independent that he believes the Senate should censure Hawley for, quote, provoking yesterday's riots in our nation's capital. Senator Hawley's publisher announced today it would not publish his book, The Tyranny of Big Tech, which was scheduled to hit shelves in June. In a statement, Simon & Schuster accused Hawley of playing a role in what it called, quote, a dangerous threat to our democracy and freedom. Hawley tweeted a response. It reads in part, "This could not be more Orwellian. Simon & Schuster is canceling my contract because I was representing my constituents, leading a debate on the Senate floor." He goes on to say the cancellation is an assault on the First Amendment and plans to see the company in court. A man photographed lounging in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office during riots yesterday has been identified as an Arkansas man who says he was just looking for the bathroom. He's 60-year-old Bigo Barnett from Gravette, who's involved with a pro-gun rights group in Northwest Arkansas. He admits to KFSM in Arkansas he is the person in that viral photo. Barnett says he took an envelope off Pelosi's desk and left a quarter and a note.
I set my flag down sat down here at my desk. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a patriot. That is her desk. We loaned her that desk, and she ain't appreciating the desk, so I thought I'd sit down and appreciate the desk. I threw my feet up on the desk.
The FBI says Barnett could face federal charges. Many who stormed the Capitol appear to be conspiracy theorists and extremists involved with groups like QAnon and the Proud Boys. A Joplin resident was outside the Capitol when the riot broke out. Abby Covington, who led the recall effort against the Joplin City Council, went to Washington, D.C. when she heard of a protest planned at the Capitol. KOAM's Chris Warner has her story and a reaction from the Southwest Missouri Democrats.
What you're looking at is video taken by Joplin resident Abby Covington Wednesday at our nation's capital. Covington said she heard a protest of the Electoral College results was planned, and she decided to join a small group going up.
You know, we just said we've got to go to our nation's capital and petition our leaders for redress of grievances. You know, let them know, and nobody went with any intentions to cause any trouble or hurt anybody at all.
Covington says she uses the term protest because she says that's what it was when it started, but then things began to change. Krista Stark with the Southwest Missouri Democrats says she's been a part of many protests, and what happened Wednesday was anything but.
They can say a lot of things about how they just intended this to be a protest, but storming the Capitol, tearing down the flag from Nancy Pelosi's office and crumpling it up on her desk is sedition. It's not a protest.
Stark says she doesn't condone what happened Wednesday, nor could she condone even her own party doing something similar. Covington says she doesn't think it's fair how members of the crowd are being portrayed, since the majority of them never entered the Capitol building.
You can see it was just regular people. It was, you know, they're painting us as extremists. They're painting us as white supremacists. It was people of every ethnic background there. We had people of every religion. You know, this was just your normal, average, regular American exercising their right, our right to petition our government.
Stark says she has no problem with the protests. She says it's an important First Amendment right, but she has a problem with Wednesday's Capitol storming.
And I can tell you, I have never seen a protest or participated in a protest that looked like that, nor would I participate in promoting something that many of us feel was intentioned to turn into that in the first place.
I'm Chris Warner for KOAM News.
Covington says she did not enter the Capitol building herself. She says she remained outside in the crowd. In our 5 p.m. newscast, we aired a portion of our interview with Covington in which she said the protest might have been infiltrated by people who were trying to make the protesters, quote, look bad. We want to be clear, there is no evidence supporting that claim. Let's check in with Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather. Doug.
Hey, Dow, pretty calm for us outside right now. We have had the clouds all day long. Temperatures were cold for us today as we struggled to warm up. 33 to start, 38 for a high, average highs 44, record high 73, which would be nice, set back in 1965. But all the rain, all the snow is out of here. We do still have the clouds, and we're going to have mostly cloudy skies tonight, and then again, mostly cloudy skies for us tomorrow as this storm system kind of rotates away from us. But also the temperatures are going to stay pretty cold. We're sitting 32 to about 35 degrees across the region right now. We'll drop back to about 27 later on tonight. 31 by 9, 35 by noon. Even though we're going to get some sunshine tomorrow, it's still going to be cold. High temperature of 37 degrees. We're going to look into the weekend and our next chance for snow here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, Freeman Health System is using a new tool in its fight against COVID-19. We'll hear from an Anderson, Missouri couple about how they believe it helped them beat back the disease. And the state of Oklahoma moves to another stage of its vaccination plan. We'll explain what that means for you. Joplin's Freeman Hospital is using a special kind of antibody therapy to help COVID-19 patients that was recently granted emergency use authorizations by the FDA. A couple from Anderson, Missouri believes the treatment has helped get them back on their feet. KOAM's Mike Mahoney has that story.
Jeff and Alicia Brady are an Anderson, Missouri couple who are feeling a lot better after being treated by Joplin's Freeman Hospital for COVID-19.
The turnaround was pretty quick. The next day, we were both feeling better, and we've been feeling every bit better every day since.
The Bradys are crediting their rapid recovery to Freeman staff and a new treatment recently granted emergency use authorization by the FDA called bamlanivimab, monoclonal antibody treatment. According to the FDA, the treatment is for COVID-positive patients at risk of progressing to severe symptoms or hospitalization.
I feel better every day, and it seemed like it worked pretty fast. I was having a lot of headaches and stomach cramping and backache, and those pretty much have gone away.
President Trump received a similar antibody treatment when he was infected with the coronavirus, but with the procedure still being studied, it's not quite as well known as other treatments. But the Bradys believe bamlanivimab is the real deal, so they're trying to get the word out.
We weren't even aware of the option. I think there are many people out there that aren't aware that it even is a treatment option right now.
We thought if we could save somebody's life by posting it, we wanted them to know about it.
In Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Freeman staff is hopeful this treatment will reduce emergency room visits among COVID-19 patients. The state of Oklahoma is moving further into phase 2 of its vaccination plan. Everybody in phase 1 is still able to get vaccinated. That includes frontline healthcare workers and nursing home residents and staff. This latest stage adds healthcare workers who work outside of hospital settings, first responders, adults 65 and older, and adults of any age with comorbidities. The next stage of phase 2 will bring in teachers and public health staff in Oklahoma. While 2 coronavirus vaccines continue to roll out across the U.S., 2 new variants of the virus have emerged. So can our current vaccines fight the new strains? Reporter Mandy Gaither has more.
2 new variants of the coronavirus seem to make the virus more easily spread. One, first identified in Britain, has already been discovered in the U.S. While doctors worried it might have mutated enough to evade vaccine protection, the evidence now suggests it has not. However, the jury's still out on the second new variant first seen in South Africa.
We don't want that strain to start running around the world and causing more damage.
Dr. William Schaffner, former CDC official and professor of infectious diseases at Vanderbilt University, says over the next few weeks, virologists will be studying to see how much of a match there is between this new variant first identified in South Africa and our vaccines. Scientists say it has to do with where the changes are and how they affect the shape and function of the virus. All current vaccines target what is known as the spike protein, the structure the virus uses to get into the cells it attacks. But mutations that change the way that spike protein looks can also help hide it from the immune system, making antibodies less effective.
If there's not a match or there's sufficient deviation, then the manufacturers will have to go back to work and create yet another vaccine, hopefully one that will cover both strains.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All viruses mutate, which is why vaccines like the one for the flu are changed each year. But some scientists say encouraging coronavirus vaccination is a clear solution to defeating any potential mutations in the virus. Doug Heddy is up next with his complete forecast. And a little bit later on KOAM News at 10, 2 of the top boys basketball teams in Missouri face off in the Kaminsky Classic. We're going to have highlights from Webb City's matchup with Nevada in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a gloomy day for us today. We had the rain yesterday, last night, even late last night between 2 and about 5 a.m. A good chunk of us switched over to snow, and we did get some accumulations. Now, it melted very quickly once it went back to rain, but we officially had a half an inch, at least in Joplin, which was gone very quickly. But for the year, we're at 4.5 inches. Of course, we had the ice on last Thursday, so New Year's, and then average snowfall for winter is about a foot across the region. But cloudy skies. Haven't seen the sun in a while. Great time lapse Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see that little bit of snow early in the morning hours, and then we start to dry out, but we just haven't had any sunshine. We're not going to have a ton of it even over the next couple days. Staying cold, mainly dry, kind of a calm part of the pattern, but we do have at least some changes down the road. You can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. I just updated it. The long-range forecast out all the way through the month of February. 32 in Iola, 35 Oswego, Neodesha 35, Miami, Welch sitting at 36. Neosho 34, Monette 32, Lamar checking in at about 32, 33 in Pittsburgh. Outside the station, 34, northerly winds 5 to 10, humidity about 20 or about 80%, and it looks like there could be a little bit of patchy fog late tonight. But all the rain, all the snow that we had late last night into the morning hours kind of slowly deteriorated through the morning hours, and then now this whole system is gone, wrapping up across the eastern seaboard. But you can't see all the clouds behind it. So we're going to have mostly cloudy skies tonight. And I think we'll actually have mostly cloudy skies once again throughout the daytime hours tomorrow. Let's go west. This is where our weather comes from. A very weak little system across parts of Wyoming. You can see a little twist in the winds. Not going to affect us. Next system after that, off the coast of the Pacific Northwest. That system's going to take a deep southern track, but something we're going to watch as we head into Saturday and also on Sunday. Tonight, cloudy skies, maybe a little fog late, upper 20s. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, but even with some sun, still going to be cold. 27 to start, 34 by noon, high temp right around 37 during the afternoon hours. Still some clouds sticking around tomorrow night, cold. We'll dip back to about 25, and then on Saturday, a little bit more sunshine, but still kind of chilly. High temps only into the upper 30s. Now, as we go down the road, here's late Sunday. See this next system? It's taking a southern track, so southern Oklahoma, parts of Texas, and then kind of curls out through parts of Arkansas. I wouldn't be surprised if this shoots a little bit farther north, so I'm at least going to put in chances for flurries late Sunday into Monday. But until about next Thursday, we don't have a bigger storm system. That system by next Thursday will give us a much colder temperatures late next week into next weekend. But at least the next few days staying cold, mainly dry, 37 tomorrow, 39 Friday, 38 on Sunday, 41 on Monday. But look at this, 52 Tuesday, 60 by Wednesday. So we do get a warm up down the road.
Yeah, 50s and 60 perhaps in January in the 4 states. We'll take that for sure.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, the Missouri Southern and Pitt State men prepare for a rivalry matchup. We're going to hear from both teams' head coaches.
Well, tonight is night 2 of the Kaminsky Classic at Joplin High School, and it gives us one of the best games of the week. The Webb City Cardinals hit the floor tonight against Nevada in a battle of 2 top 10 teams. Nevada currently ranked 10th in Class 5. Webb City 2 spots ahead at number 8. Early on, off the turnover, Cole Vaden gives it off to Nakai Howard for the easy finish. Trenton Hayes, he hit 3 threes tonight, 17 points. Webb City up 17-6 after 1. The second quarter, Tigers make the shots they missed early. Logan Applegate off the dribble. Then Logan McNeely, 3 from the other side. Game high 22 for McNeely. Nevada cuts the lead to 5 at halftime. Webb City, though, puts it out of reach in the third. Cole Vaden, nice little sidestep, 9 points, 8 boards for Vaden. Then Nakai Howard finishes on the break. He had 17. Great win tonight for the Cards. They win at 65-55 over Nevada.
They've had our number the last couple of years, so we had a lot of motivation going into this game, and we were just excited to finally finish one off against those guys. I think they've got one of the best programs in Southwest Missouri, and you know, our guys played well. I know they're excited and looking to play one more.
After that one, Joplin aims for a 2-0 start at the Classic against William Chrisman. Off to a good start offensively, always right, knocking down the 3. More from him in a moment. Younger brother, All Right, gets in on the action there, steps in and buries it. He had 14. Dante Washington, crossover straight to the rack. It's 25-13. Check this out, though. Doesn't really matter how deep. All he needs is a clean look. Always right. Beats the first quarter buzzer. Joplin on pace to top 100 in the first. Second quarter, more from Always Right. He finishes with a game-high 24. Joplin moving on to the tournament championship, winning 78-65. Well, this week is rivalry week for Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern basketball. On Saturday, the Gorillas welcome in the Lions for their first of 2 meetings this season. On the men's side, both teams kind of in the same position right now. Pitt State's 4-4, while Southern is 4-3. Now, the Lions haven't played since December 19th. That was a 2-point loss to Missouri Western. Now, although this rivalry won't be as rowdy from a fan standpoint, just happy to have a chance to get back on the floor for the first time in a while.
We need to have a good bounce back after losing Missouri Western, and I think our guys will just be happy to get out there and play.
It's disappointing that, the fans, you can't have very many fans, you can't have students obviously aren't around, to create that atmosphere that really helps you on a home court.
Definitely it'll be different this year with less fans. Usually it's pretty good rivalry, and we'll see what type of crowd they got.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Private First Class Virgil Denayer. The Webb City native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Virgil Denayer. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Checking in with Doug Heady now, putting on his microphone for a final look at the weather. Doug.
Hey, Dad. Yeah, I almost forgot it, but I got it on.
Yes,
yeah, it looks cold for us tonight. We drop back into the upper 20s. And then mostly cloudy skies for us tomorrow. High temp at 37, 39 Saturday, 38 on Sunday. So staying kind of cold the next few days, but mainly dry. But check this out, 52 Tuesday, up to 60 by Wednesday.
And this weekend, we're all staying inside watching playoff football.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.